You put the help. Some people think, oh, the post stealing the money. But even I've seen the money again, like Brentford, I put it because Ali and I see it carrying in Europe. Some people in the country, all government are in eligible interest. That's the money. But we tell no money, the small will go to our people there, go pay for the small invest. I can't pay how in one country invest. So I was telling money I carry to Ghana, correct? But one country get it out of me, I was taking from here, Gary. No. Yeah, I'll leave it. Yes. The day God take me, I will carry her with me. No. Our grandchildren will kind of see the ones there, but what kind of looking for? They go find one there. So these are the things we'll be doing. I just want to say thank you to for doing what he's doing. What the young men doing, he's just doing part. One day will not be represented. But
what the money can do, what the money can do, what the money can do, well, what the money can do, what the money can do, what the money can do.
This August, the All Liberian Unity Festival comes alive in New York City, USA. The 3-day event will run from August.
It's all in the game. It's all in the game. Here, there, and everywhere. The people keep on crying. The people just keep on crying. It's not fair. And we know some. All the big people, some. All the roadside hustlers, some. The big sea divide us, the big sea confuse us, the big sea they blind us. It's so wrong, and it's growing everywhere. Oh yes, growing everywhere. The big sea is corruption. The big sea is spreading everywhere. The big sea is corruption.
All right, folks, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Welcome to Focus on Liberia. This is your favorite show, Roundtable Africa. I am Sekou Kele, your host, and I'm broadcasting live from Canada. And I'm very happy to be here today with our topic, as usual, latest breaking news from around Africa. My co-host, Edward Amara, will join me a few minutes from now. So without wasting time, here are the breaking news that we'll be discussing today. Government sanctioned, U.S. government sanctioned public officers in Liberia on corruption allegation. We'll be discussing that. Second, Raila Odinga rejects Kenya presidential election results. So we'll be going all the way to East Africa. Then Accra in Sierra Leone after police gunned down a prominent opposition figure. We'll discuss that. Then lastly, French troops fully withdrawn from Mali. So these are the things we'll be discussing here today. And then without wasting your time, folks, we'll go to the first news here, the news story that interests us. U.S. government sanctioned public officers in Liberia on corruption charges. So we've all read the news recently, the United States Embassy. Let me put this up very quickly. Round. 'Round. 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 ' 1 second. Let me put it. Okay. So the United States government sanctioned public officers in Liberian government for corruption allegation. Let's go straight to the website of the U.S. Embassy in Liberia and just read the first paragraph, the statement they released. We'll read the first paragraph. And I love to go to the primary documents because so it won't be like focus on Liberia, carry fake news, or we do speculations here. No, we don't. When we report anything, we make sure we verify the news, we go to the source of it, and make sure we give you authentic information. So I'm going straight to the U.S. Embassy and read the first paragraph of the information they released. Then from there, we will know exactly what we are talking about. So here it is. All right. Just a second. Let me get the news directly. All right. Here it is. So you're looking at the screen. So from the U.S. Embassy, this is the U.S. Embassy in Liberia. This is their website, the official website. And the first paragraph here, this is what it reads. Washington, today the U.S. Department of the Treasury Office Foreign Assets Control, OFAC, designated Liberian government official Nathaniel Magay, Sema Serenio Cephas, Bill Twaye for their involvement in ongoing public corruption in Liberia. These officials are designated pursuant to exclusive executive order EO 13818, which builds upon implement of the Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act and target perpetrators of serious human rights abuse and corruption around the world. That's it, man. This is all you need. If you want to read the rest of it, you can go down and read it. But this is exactly what it says. So I will stop sharing. So the United States government sanctions these 3 government officials, like we just saw from the embassy website, for corruption. And this is very interesting, folks, because for us Liberians, we've been crying since the George Weah-led government came to power. The people have been crying, starting from the 16 billion protests by the COP and other civil rights movement groups. Other different protests came on with corruption allegation, government officials. People have been protesting against George Weah-led government. But the president did not listen to the people. It seems like the government does not listen to the people because there have been numerous protests. And people have been writing different articles saying, George Weah, your government officials are corrupt. And the president said, no, these are opposition leaders, enemies of the state. These are enemies of the state. If you even remember, 2 years ago or a year ago, Lema Bowie, who was called to be the orator during the National Independence Day, she gave a speech on this corruption issue. How people come to power. Yesterday, they were poor. Yesterday, we saw these government officials in Claratown. We saw them walking around in Point 4. We saw them walking around on Broad Street. They had nothing. All of a sudden, you came to power and these guys started working in the government. They became multi-millionaire overnight. And we found Nathaniel Magay justifying corruption and saying that if I steal the money, I build houses in Bon County, I build the houses in our neighborhood. I'm not taking the money to Ghana or I'm not taking it abroad. This is the logic. The fact that I steal the money and bring it to the community, so it's not stealing. This is what these people are trying to convince us. And the United States government have found this out. They've discovered that these guys have engaged in numerous corruption. In fact, if you read the document, it tells you, it gave you details. How they when people come to look for contract, they bribe, they look for all sort of bribe, and then if you cannot give them bribe, they make sure that you don't succeed in getting contract in Liberia, preventing development. These people are anti-development, anti-Liberia. I will say. So the United States government decided to sanction these people. And now, suddenly you will see Liberian government will begin to take some steps to either suspend these people or do something. The question we are asking is, if the United States government does not sanction these people, if the United States government does not call them out, do Liberians have a mechanism to find out people who are corrupt? This is the question. Does the Liberian system is sophisticated enough to fish out people who are corrupt? I doubt, because with all the corruption commission they have, with all these how they call it, auditors that they have in the country, it takes the United States government to come and sanction Liberian officials before we realize that something is wrong. Ladies and gentlemen, this is so sad for our country. If you think this is something that we should just minimize it, no, it's not something for us to minimize. It is something that is a very, very grave problem that affects our society. That from early government, we've been crying and say that Ellen destroyed our country. We said Ellen brought in corrupt officials and they prevented development in the country because they were corrupt. Then you elected a son of a poor man, George Weah. Come and help your people. And they even said that their philosophy of governance is pro-poor. The philosophy of governance is pro-poor. In other words, they are pro-poor people. That means their policies, their actions, and everything will be to defend, to elevate the poor man in the Liberian society. Just to find out that all these things were just slogans, that these boys were there to steal, that they have come to enrich themselves. All these people they criticize, they just criticize them because they wanted to be in charge. You see, they said most of the time in Africa, when people shout corruption, corruption, all they are saying is that I don't have the opportunity to eat as well. That's the only reason why they are shouting corruption. But as soon as you give them the opportunity to serve in the public, to do some public service, they start stealing more than the people they used to criticize. This is a serious issue. It's a shame to our country. Shame that an embassy in our country, a foreign diplomat in our country, are the one who should tell us how corrupt our government officials are. It's a shame. It's an embarrassment to the state. It's an embarrassment to our entire society. Our children are watching. Those who are trying to bring up as mentors, those who we are trying to bring up to say they will be the leaders of tomorrow, they are watching. Young men, these are not old people. Nathaniel Magate is not old. These are people in their middle age that we will call young generation of Liberians trying to transform our society. They are the ones who are engaging in corruption, stealing public funds. You see, the problem with corruption, people don't understand. It's not that the man went and took $500,000, or he took $200,000, or he took $50,000. It doesn't matter. It could just be 1,000. It could just be 2,000. But the problem is, when you engage in corruption, what you are doing is that you weaken the institutions. You weaken the institution of the state. And once you weaken the institutions, then nothing works. Imagine a judge who is corrupt. And that judge, there is a serious case of human rights violation, and people are looking for justice. And somebody gave that judge $5,000, and the judge decided to trade justice with cash. Do you know the implication of that? It means that people who are supposed to get justice will not get justice. And they will go underground with that anger, with that anger and animosity. They will go underground. These are people that become rebels. These are people that become disobedient to the state because they can't get justice. When they go to the system to get justice, they can't. Imagine a minister of health who is corrupt. Money allocated to buy drugs or to improve the health sector is being embezzled. Now the health infrastructure, there's nothing. A woman go to the hospital to give birth, she die because there is no simple medicine to give to her because the infrastructures are not there. And that one individual pocketed the money and built some kind of house in Bond County and put a swimming pool in it to relax. But there are 2-3 women from that Bond County go to JFK and they die because there is no sufficient drugs. This is the implication of corruption. You are killing people. You are destroying people's destiny. You are weakening our institution. This is the implication. It's not the fact that you just took money and build a house, but the implication, the mechanism you use to get that money, you know the problem you created. You see, why is it that since 1847 we don't have roads linking our counties to the capital? Huh? How many square kilometers is Liberia? That from the counties, we don't have roads linking all the counties from all the 16 counties linking to Monrovia. It's difficult. Some of them up to now, they still have bush track. Bush track, they are not even roads. Why? Because somebody decided to take the money and put it in their pocket. We don't have hospitals. Our mothers are dying day and night in JFK because you don't have all the modern equipment. Why? Because not just this government, because there has been a consistent corruption from generation to generation. We've been doing it consistently. Every government that comes in, someone will steal. Every government that comes in. So it's not just Jawia-led government. You can take it back to Ellen. You can take it back to Charles Taylor. You can take it back to Samuel Kedo. You can take it back to Talbot. You can take it back to Tubman. All the way up. Consistently, we've been corrupt. So now we wonder why there's no hospital. We wonder why there are no roads. We wonder why we live in one of the biggest villages in Africa and we call it city, Monrovia. You wonder why there's no electricity. You wonder why? Because of corruption. But the question again that we ask, how do the corrupt officials, how do they survive in the system? Why is it that the society does not shame corruption? Why is it that the society does not disown these corrupt people? Now, here's the reason. Because we've created sanctuaries for corrupt officials. There are sanctuaries, tribal sanctuaries, political party are created sanctuary for corrupt people. So if you are in my party and there's a corruption allegation against you, we create a safe havens for you. We protect you and say, no, the guy is in CDC. So if he steals, there's no problem, we'll protect him. No, the guy is in Unity Party. Even if he commits corruption, we will shield him. You see, the institutions are not strong enough to fish out people, regardless of their party. Recently, you saw in the United States how the FBI raided the house of the former president. Just a few months ago, Donald Trump was the most powerful man on the planet. Just a few months ago, Donald Trump was the most powerful man on the planet. President of the United States and the free world, leader of the free world. But guess what? The FBI went to his home because while he got classified document, they went and searched his home. This is how the U.S., this is how their institution work. They don't care who you are. There is no impunity. Nobody is above the law. This is what we need. If you guys say you want to be small America, don't do it by mouth or by copying their flag. Copy their institution. How competent they are. Copy their competence. Copy their science. Copy how competent they are, how their institutions are free. How the president is not a king. The president is not a king. So we must create institutions that are able to investigate our officials. This is the point we must get to. There should be no sanctuary for corrupt people, my ladies and gentlemen. Otherwise, we are going nowhere. All these beautiful plans we have. If you like, change the president. If you like, next election, let's remove George Weah and put Joseph Boakai, or put in there my friend. I call him my friend because I consider him to be my friend. Put in my friend of ANC, Alexander Cummings. Believe me, nothing will change if we don't change the institutions. Changing one man or one lady won't work. It has never worked. We just moved from a Harvard economist ruling the country, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, very competent person from the private sector, from who I work with the international community. She led our country. What happened? What happened? When are we going to have someone as qualified as Ellen, as far as credentials are concerned? Who has the credentials of Ellen right now in the race? None. So that credential issue doesn't work. Even if we change the head of state today, it's not going to make a difference. We need to find out how institutions work. These three branches of government, what are their responsibilities? So we don't just protest for protest's sake. We hold our lawmakers accountable in our districts. We find out what law they are making, what are they voting for, what impact are they making in that house. We hold each public servant accountable. The police are not there to guide the president alone or the government official. The police are there to guide the life and property. These are our institutions. We just copy and paste these Western institutions, but we don't know how they function, or we ignore the law that are guiding this thing. That's why we are having these issues. So we have these gentlemen who we've seen that they've been very outspoken. You remember the June Save the State protest, Nathaniel Magay, okay, Beto, all these guys, and you see how they were outspoken, they were protesting the CDC. These are guys that were dancing around, saying that we that are speaking now, we are enemies of the state. Now, who is the enemy of the state now? A man who embezzled funds, a man who is involved in corruption, or people that are speaking against it? Who is the enemy of the state? We've been telling we are led government, if you have a cabinet and people elected you to do a good work for them, you were elected on the philosophy that this man does not, he comes from the downtrodden, from the class that have been rejected by society. You come from the slum. You come from the people who don't have voice. You don't come from the elite. That's the reason the Zogos and the poor people, they said, let us put our brother there. A man who became popular just because of football. He was not one of the elites. He did not come from one of the elite family in Liberia. He's the son of nobody, as we say. So he's going to recruit sons of nobodies in Liberia who are competent enough so that they can dry our tears, so that they can show to the elite that the poor masses are ready to take this revolution on. That's why CDC portrays itself as a revolutionary party. They are wearing red caps. Where is the revolution now? Where is the revolution? The revolution of stealing? It all began with your president. When he took office, he demolished his home and started building duplex. Started building beautiful buildings. Even if he is a billionaire, is it on a day after election that you start bringing down your building and start erecting new one? Who is your advisor, Mr. President? Who is telling you that that's the right thing to do? How did all these officials become millionaires? How did the Jefferson Kojis become kings and lords in the city? And you were the son of nobody that have come to liberate the people. Where are we? What has happened? Don't take it for granted that the United States government just sanctioned 3 of your government officials, so it's nothing, it's just, no, don't take it for granted. It means that there are a lot of them there. The U.S. just fished out the few. It means that you are surrounded by corrupt people. It means that the people that you have selected to be your team members to run Liberia have betrayed the Liberian people. That's what it means. It means we are not in safe hands. It means all these people running around shouting Munya, Munya, they are actually telling, oh, Mude, go behind. It's not Munya, we are not going in front. We are not doing any Munya, we are not going no front. We are going backward. You see? So it's time to reflect. That's why people who are serious, when you have a cabinet After 1 or 2 years, you see there's no progress, or you see the people complaining, you reshuffle your cabinet. You look at people who you know are not doing well, remove them, replace them with sound mind, replace them with people who have, it's not because certain people sing for you and you won elections so they are entitled. No. A pilot is the one who should drive the plane. A driver with a license is the one who should drive the car. In other words, people who are competent are the one who should lead certain places, not because they are your friends, not because they are close to you. Running a country is not a family affair. It's not a boys' club affair. It's not a gentleman club affair. This is the life of the people, our destiny, because the time you are going to spend in office is one generation. People who were 10 years old when you took office, if you get 2 terms before you leave, those people have become adults. They are now in their 20s. And when you came to office, those who were 15 years old, maybe they could not vote. By the time you were leaving, probably they will be in their 25, going to their 30. One generation gone. So don't play with the people. Reshuffle your cabinet. Kick these guys out and bring in new brain, bring in new mind. And you have to do, one of my principal advised me when I was in Nigeria, attending an Islamic school. The guy who owned the school, he told me, he said, I have a lot of staff in this school and they are working. But there's one thing I believe. I don't believe just because I gave them jobs, so I'll just go home and relax and sleep. I believe in what they call personal supervision. When I appoint people, I give them job, I go out of my way to do personal supervision, to find out if they have done exactly what I told them to do. Because I am the head. If something goes wrong, I am responsible. I should be held responsible because I'm the one who is heading this project. Judge Weah, when the people cast the ballot, they didn't vote for Nathaniel Magay. They did not vote for Cephas. They did not vote for Bill Twain. They voted for a Judge Manuel Weah. So if there's corruption in the government, we are blaming the head. We are blaming you because it happened under your personal supervision. How come you did not know that those who surrounded you are thieves, are tiffy, row? How come you did not know that? If you don't know, then it means you are incompetent. If you knew and you did not do anything, then you colluded with them, then you yourself, you are corrupt, then you must go. There is no escape for you. Either you did not know, that means you are incompetent, or you knew, but then you cover it up, that means you yourself, you are corrupt, so you must go. You betrayed the people. This corruption thing, people always say, oh, Liberia, is cursed. What kind of curse? Who cursed Liberia? What God cursed Liberia? There is no such a thing that Liberia is cursed. What God? What part of your scripture says that Liberia is not cursed? Liberia is blessed. Liberia is just being led by bad people, bad corruption. Together, collectively, our consciousness has not been able to produce good leader. That's all. There is no curse. The land is a blessed land. How much do you want God to bless you? You got rivers, you got forests, you got good weather. Your land is full of diamond and gold. How does heaven bless people? Huh? Whatever God is there you are worshiping, that God has done well for Liberia. God has given us all we want, all that is needed to make a prosperous nation on earth. There is no curse there. It is because our decision, our action in action that have led us to where we are. This is a very, very shameful moment in history. Remember that U.S. is a foreign nation with a foreign mission in Liberia. Officially, they are not to tell us what to do in Liberia. Officially, they are not the one to tell us who is corrupt in our government and who is not. Officially, it is not the United States' responsibility to fix Liberian government. It is not the responsibility of the United States government to tell us who is right and who is wrong in Liberia. No, they are a foreign diplomat who should have just been restricted to their embassy and some of the diplomatic relationships they have in Liberia. But if you see it has gone to that level, It's because of the decadence in our society. It's because of the incompetence of our leadership. It's because a successive generation have produced a group of incompetent people to a point that even we, the people, do not consider excellence. We, the people, we've always resolved to mediocrity. So that when someone builds 2 kilometers of roads, we see it as development. When someone put 2-3 light poles up, we celebrate, we dance for our president. In fact, our government officials, they go out for treatment abroad, and we celebrate them. You see? You see? So now they have been suspended. Our government has suspended these people. Now here is the catch, people. If a newspaper, a competent newspaper in Liberia has reported this corruption, will we take action? No. If the civil rights group in Liberia have protested against these people, will we have taken action? I don't think so. Now the United States government has released this paper, then our president suddenly became active. He suspended this book. Is suspension enough? Is suspension enough? These people must be investigated. United States can cooperate with ask the United States to come and cooperate with your government, saying they are able to fish them out. So that means they have some documents on them. So they should be able to cooperate with the Liberian government to be able to produce the document on these people, fish them out, prosecute them. Let us see these people in orange suit. John Weir, if you are serious to combat corruption, put your men, your foot soldiers that have been accused of corruption, take them to court. Let them be investigated. Let them be prosecuted. Let's see them in orange suit. Then we know that you are willing. You can choose between Liberia and your people. You see, suspension on what are the details of this suspension? Is this suspension to tell them to go and relax in their mansion, stolen money that they've used to build their mansion, rely in the swimming pool, and be getting their pay on the ground? Because we know the brown envelope will still be meeting them on the ground. Or they are suspended without pay. Or they are under investigation. What is the detail of this suspension, Mr. President George Manuel Weah? Just because the embassy, so anytime, the last time we saw it, when the U.S. embassy released a paper on the former Deputy Minister of Information, this guy, how they call him? I've forgotten his name now. When they released information on him, Eugene Fagon, then you went and suspended Eugene Fagon. But when the utterances of Eugene Fagon, which were endangering our national security, he was creating an ethnic division in the country, you did not see a fit to suspend him. You did not have the rational judgment to suspend Eugene Fagon until the United States had to make a press release to say Eugene Fagon is a danger to national security. That's when you suspended Eugene Fagon. Mr. President, are you ruling Liberia from the U.S. Embassy? Are you leading Liberia from the U.S. Embassy, or do you have a policy? We are in big trouble, fellow Liberians. If this is not troubling to you, it is to me. This is not good for us. This is not good for us. The United States government should always tell into which direction we should go. Now, we don't have competent leaders with rational judgment to know when they should sanction their officials, to know when they should be able to place certain government officials behind bar, or they should be investigated. There are no competent institutions in our country to be able to protect the Liberian people. The corruption agencies that have been created are all corrupt. This is not good for us. This is not good news. It's shameful. It's embarrassing. And Liberians are watching. And I hope Liberians will pay CDC government back in this coming election. They should pay them back in full for this betrayal that they have done.